Okay, so I tried to explain, if you're not careful, you didn't write this in the proper order. So everybody should rewrite this as y equals negative 2x squared plus 8x plus 3. All right. Now, again, we're learning a second technique for graphing today. All right. So this technique is when it's written in standard form. All right. So the first thing we want is the axis symmetry. X equals negative b over 2a, which is negative 8 over 2 times negative 2, which in this case is negative 8 over negative 4, which is the same as 2. So now you come over here and you draw a axis symmetry at x equals 2. Anybody have any issues with that? All right, so there we go. X equals 2. Now what? Now you plug 2 back into the equation. So it's just y equals negative 2 times 2 squared plus 8 times 2 plus 3. So y equals 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8 plus 16 plus 3. So y equals 11. So now I know the vertex is 3. I'm sorry, not 3, but 2, comma, 11. So now I graph 211. So 211 just happens to be up here. All right, the next step is to find the y-intercept. So I told you the y-intercept is always 0, comma, c. So I plot 0, 3. Then you measure to the axis symmetry. How far away am I?
2 places.
1, 2. So then you count over 1, 2. And guys, there's your graph. That's it. All right. If you don't like that, that's perfectly fine. You check it with your calculator and see if you're doing it correctly. All right. Yes, sir.
I have a question in regards to our methodology with the axis of symmetry.
Okay.
Now, yes, I see the, yes, last night I mistook the proper order, but wouldn't it be, why is it x equals, negative 6 over 2A?
Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan. That's my ugly B.
Oh, I see.
That's the formula. That's the formula. Negative B over 2A. Anybody else need me to?
Number 5.
8.
Okay. All right, let's do number 8. All right, here we go. X equals negative B over 2A. So negative 6 over 2 equals negative 3. Anybody got a problem with that? All right, so now we just come over here to negative 3. And we try to graph negative 3. Anybody have an issue with that? Now we just plug negative 3 in. So y equals negative 3 squared plus 6 times negative 3 plus 5. Y equals 9 minus 18 plus 5. Y equals negative 4. Anybody else get negative 4?
Yeah.
So now we have 3 comma negative 4. What?
Negative 3.
That's what I said. Negative 3, negative 4.
You did say that.
Yes, I did.
0, negative.
All right. And then we have the y-intercept. Y-intercept. 0, comma 5. Now we say, how far away am I from the axis symmetry? 1, 2, 3 units. 1, 2, 3. And now draw the graph. Come on, that's not bad. All right. Now listen, I don't mind doing them all, and I'm gonna do the other one. All right, but it's you have to do it. You have to participate. You have to do the problems. All right. I've done 8 problems now, or 7. All right, you should be getting better at it. All right, you don't have to list out all the steps. It's just negative b over 2a. Plug that answer in. That gives you the axis symmetry and the vertex. Then you plot the y-intercept. Then you graph the 3 points. It really isn't that hard. All right, you just have to remember x equals negative b over 2a. All right, now let's go back and check out number. Did we do number 5 already?
I think you did number 5, right?
I think we. All right, so now let's plug -1 in because Nora's having trouble with -1 squared. Y equals -3, -1 squared minus 6 times -1 plus 7. So y equals -3 plus 6 plus 7. So in this case, y equals 10. So the vertex was -1, positive 10. The y-intercept was 0,7. So now we graph x equals -1, which is right here. Now we graph -1, 10, which is right here. Now we plot the point 0, 7. I'm 1 unit away. And now I'm graphing. How's that, Nora? Anybody have any doubt about that? Max, how you doing?
Maybe number 6, I had a bit of trouble on that.
All right, we're gonna do number 6.
Okay, yeah, this is just with the graphing, like, if we're on the test, we have to graph. If we have the points right, but you're not good at like, actually,
You need to practice. You need to practice drawing that parabola. Don't give me some.
find like, if it's like this angle, sometimes it's like this.
You need to go into art class and ask Miss Murray to teach you how to draw a parabola. All right, here we go. Now for this one again, x equals -b. Now if I do -b, it becomes what? 4 over 2 equals 2. All right, so the axis symmetry, x equals 2. Drawing it in here. Then plug 2 in. Y equals 2 squared minus 4 times 2. Y equals 4 minus 8. -4. 2 comma -4. So now I'm graphing 2 comma -4. Max, am I making sense?
Yeah.
All right, now the y-intercept is what, guys? What's the y-intercept on this one? What's the y-intercept on this one?
0.
0, 0. Because C is 0. Now, how far away are we from the x or the axis symmetry? 2. So count over. And there's your graph, guys. What is the C value? What is the C value? That's what we're asking. Yeah, the C value is 0. There is no C. Hey. Playing around too much.
Your arrows are pointing that way.
Yeah,
You just point them. Okay.
They're perfect. Thank you.
Sure, that's the sort of thing I do, sir.
All right, there, all 8 problems are done. All right, so now hold on to that, please. All right. All right, now I have to discuss with you a different format. So this is what we say if it's written in vertex form. All right, So
Turn down your volume.
I got you. Thank you. All right. Now, again, graphing quadratic functions written in vertex form. So this will be considered vertex form. All right. And again, I often try to explain kids how to go from standard form to vertex form, but it's completely unnecessary. All right. So we're going to have two forms, standard form, and this is said vertex form. Now, just by observation, H and K stands for the what? Vertex. All right. X equals H is called the axis symmetry. We already knew that because it doesn't change. Once you have the vertex, the X establishes the axis symmetry. All right. Now, the number in front is called, in graphing, we say that's either a vertical stretch or a vertical shrink. All right. Now, what that means is it just pulls on the graph or it pushes it down. All right. So one note you could make to yourself is this. You could say if A is greater than 1, it's called a stretch. And if A is less than 1, but greater than 0, it's called a shrink. All right. Now, if A is less than 0, we say that's reflected over the x-axis. And I will show you how obvious all of this is. All right, but those are some good notes. Now, H is called the horizontal shift. You're either moving left and right, and K is the vertical shift, which means you're moving up or down. All right, it's really, really simple. And the beauty of it is it applies for all functions. When you get into Algebra 2, you will talk about cubics. You will talk about radicals. You will talk about sines and cosines. You will talk about all different types of functions that have the same characteristics that are written in this exact same format. And if you understand what A means, if you understand that H is the shifting left and right and K is shifting up or down, all you need to learn is what's referred to as the parent functions. All right. Once you understand the parent functions, then you can graph everything. All right. So what exactly does that mean? The parent function of x squared. Everybody should plot the point 0, 0 quickly. How did I know 0, 0 was a point on the graph? Because 0 squared is 0. Then what's 1 squared? What's -1 squared? What's 2 squared? What's -2 squared? 4. That's what you're supposed to be observing. All right. That is, again, the outline of the graph. And if you wanted to get even better, you could say 3 was 9. All right. But again, this is just the parent function. So if you were to graph this, all right, you should be able to see the outline of the parabola. All right. Now is where I'm going to demonstrate and show you really, really simple, really simple. So first thing is I want everybody to look over. All right. And I want everybody to tell me we started at the vertex, correct? And then normally we go over to the right 1 and then what? Up 1. Now, why do we go up 1? Because 1 squared is what? 1. Then when we go over 2, we would go up how many? Nope. 4. Why would we go up 4? You square it. That's correct. Then if I go over 3, those of you guys who are paying attention, if I go over 3, I'm going to go up how many? 9. Okay. Everyone should understand that. I don't understand why people can't do that. 0 squared is 0, 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. So you go at the vertex over 1, up 1. Then you go over 2, up 4. Then you go over 3 and up 9. That's just how simple this is. All right. So now let's look at this. Notice in my letters up here, what's the relationship between H that's in my ordered pair and the ordered pair that's in the parentheses? What do you notice? They're opposites. They're opposites. You have to make that observation. What about the K's? Are the K's opposite? What is this right here? K. What is this right here? Are they opposites? No. Look at the H. One is H and the other is what? Negative H. They're opposites. All right. If we had more time, I'd go into detail and try to explain to you exactly why. But at this particular case, you're just going to have to accept that. All right. So when you are looking at this, can anybody tell me what they think the vertex is?
-1, -3.
-1, -3. Beautiful. -1, comma, -3. We're not playing around. There's too much work. -1, comma, -3. Now everybody should be able to tell me what the axis symmetry is.
-1.
X equals -1. Everybody's going to write an equation. Now I want you to remember, normally you start at 0, 0. So horizontally, I moved what?
-1.
Left 1. That's what we write down. Vertical was what? Down 3. And my stretch, what is A in this case? 1. So is there really a stretch? No, it's just normal. Put your hands down. All right, that's it. That's it. Everybody should be able to fill in that information. Now, vertex. Vertex, -1, -3. Everybody plot -1, -3. Now you can put in the axis symmetry.
Yep.
Now, look how simple. I went through a pattern. From the vertex, we go to the right what? And then
Count 3.
to the right 1 and up 1.
Oh.
We also go to the left 1 and what? Up 1. Now, because we are brilliant, we're going to go to the right 2 and up how many? 4. Because 2 squared is what? 4. So from the vertex, watch me, from the vertex, I go to the right 2 and up 4. Then you just measure to the x-axis or to the axis symmetry and put your other point in there. And there you have it. Right? So just look one more time. I went to the right 1 from the vertex. Then I went up 1. Why did I go up 1? Because 1 squared is 1. Then I did what? I went to the right, how many? 2. And then I went up how many? 4. All right. That's what I did. From the vertex. From the vertex. What? Okay, so you're just going to have to pay attention a little better. All right. Here we go. And then graph. All right. There's what your graph looks like. All right. Flip the page. You can cross out that -2 for me. That's my first typo. Sorry. Here, get rid of this -2 right there. Sorry. Shh. Come on, come on, come on, guys. Pay attention. All right, now let's see if I made myself clear. Somebody tell me what the vertex is.
1, 3.
1, 3. The vertex is 1, 3. It's going to take some practice and it's not a big deal. Axis symmetry then would be what? X equals 1. Or horizontal shift, we would say is
Right.
right 1, vertical. up 3. That's how simple. Now the stretch. All right. I just want you to put this down. Put A equals -1. That's what you're multiplying by. All right. That's what you're multiplying by. All right. So everybody graph 1, 3. Everybody plot the point 1, 3. Then go ahead and graph the axisymmetry. And if you wait too late before you ask me a question, there's going to be problems. All right, really. What?
Like what stretch A equals?
I don't understand what you just asked me.
The stretch. Yeah.
I just said put A equals -1. Put the A. Stretch is going to be A. The A is the number in front. What? Yeah, A is the number in front. Right? If you don't understand that, just look back. There's the key.
Oh, yeah.
There's the key. All right, that answers everything. All right, now let's go back. So normally I would go to the right 1 and what? Up 1 from the vertex. But in this case, instead of going up 1, I'm going to go what? I'm going to go what? Down 1. Because what am I multiplying by? -1. So from the vertex now, I'm going right 1. Normally I would go up 1, but I'm going to go down 1. Same principle. Left 1, down 1. Now, normally I would go to the right 2, and then up how many? 4. This time, instead of going up 4, I'm going to go what? Down how many? 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is what we're looking like. All right, now some of you hesitated when I said down 4 or down 1. Anybody need me to explain why I'm going down 1? Normally, every time from the vertex, we would go over 1 and then what? Up 1. Then we would go over 2 and up how many? 4. But this time we're multiplying by -1. So instead of going over 1 and up 1, we would go over 1 and down 1. What's the matter?
I don't get how you wrote it like -1, 1. Like the 3 dots that lower where you have the last 2.
What? From the vertex, I went over 1 and down 1.
Yeah, I get
Then I
that.
went over 2 and down 4.
Why do you,
Because 1 squared is 1 and 2 squared is 4. You with me? All right, we're going to do one more for the day. All right, and we'll take a break. Okay, please. All right. Give it, I promise you it's not that hard. It's just in math, sometimes there's a sequence of events that you have to do. All right, it's just that's just the instructions. You have to follow the instructions. Everyone in here has the ability to follow these instructions, but some of you are not paying attention, daydreaming. It's not helpful. So the vertex here is what, guys? Everyone. 4, 5. Everybody should be able to write 4, 5. Anybody have any questions with why it's 4? Because you didn't look right here.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The H inside the parentheses. If you're inside a parentheses, always the opposite. On the outside of the function, we say it's the same. All right, the K, the Y value is on the outside of the function, so that's the same. Inside, it's always the opposite. You have to write yourself a note and remind yourself that. In the function, it's always the opposite direction that you think. All right, so what's the axisymmetry, guys?
4.
X equals 4. So I moved horizontally, how many?
Right.
Right, 4. Vertically, up 5. And then there's a stretch of -2. All right, there's a stretch of -2, which just basically means you're multiplying everything by what? -2. You're multiplying everything by -2. So let's put the vertex in. Come on, face the front. Stop messing around. Ask me a question.
Nothing. No,
There's nothing what?
you put up.
Up how many? You tell me. Up how many? Well, if I went to the right 4, I'm probably going to go up how many? 5. Brilliant. You with me on that? Right? The reason this is with the X. The 4 is with the X. X is moving on the X axis. This, believe it or not, is with the Y. So that moves up or down. The second number is moving on the Y. The first number is moving on the X. You hear me? All right, so let's everybody graph the vertex, 4, 5. All right, now I need your eyes and your ears. You need to listen carefully. All right, I want everybody to stop what they're doing and look up so you can be a master of this. Now, normally I would go to the right one and what? Up 1. Then I would go to the right 2 and up 4. Why 4? Because you're squaring. Right? So now, instead of going to the right 1 and up 1, I'm going to go to the right 1 and down how many? No, 2. Thank you. How did you know it was 2? Because you're multiplying that length by -2. What is significant about -2? -2 is your A value. So now I'm going to ask you one more thing. So now notice what I'm doing. I'm duplicating and I'm just moving it over. Normally, I would go over 2 and up how many? Normally, I would go over 2 and up how many? 4. But in this case, I'm going to the right 2 and down 8. Thank you. Down 8. How did I go down 8? Because I took 4 and I multiplied it by A, the number in front. So now I'm counting over 2 and down 8. And I'm just taking this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Duplicate. Throw it on the other side. Right there. And now we're going to graph the parabola. Yes, ma'am.
On the stress book, I thought you were like square it.
Listen. If you didn't do it correctly, then listen to my explanation. Right? I'm not correcting your way. You're going to the right one. Because A is -2, you're going to the right 1 and down 2. Then you're going to the right 2 and down 8. Why is it 8? Because 2 squared is 4. 4 times -2 is -8. Yes.
What happened to I thought you were going right 4 and up 5.
No, that was to get to the vertex. So watch me go right 4 and up 5. This is normally where you're at. I moved to the right 4 and up 5. That's the new vertex. You with me?
Yeah.
Normally the graph starts at 0, 0. It's been shifted to the right 4 and up 5.
But after don't eat the square 2, you get 4. But I don't know how you got -8.
Because the number in front, -2 times 4 is -8.
When do you know? How do you know when you have to do that?
Whenever there's an A, you multiply those values by whatever that number is. We'll do it. We'll continue tomorrow. All right. But listen, I see some of you just like you should be writing yourself notes. Not understanding is perfectly healthy right now. It's harder. It's a process. You have to practice the process. It's not something you go, oh, that's easy. No, you're starting to get into harder math. All right, you got to make some notes, make some adjustments, practice. All right, tomorrow when we come to class, we'll finish 5 through 10. All right, now the only thing I would suggest is we have a minute, type that into the calculator and look at it and see if I'm right. Type in y equals -2 parentheses x minus 4 squared plus 5. Graph it on the calculator and then go to your table and see if 4, 5 is on there and the other problems.
I think that's 3.